Konoha Chronicles, Naruto's diary exposes secrets and attracts Kunoichi. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 11. Uchiha Sasuke who breaks the defense. Naruto, we're here to see you. A clear and sweet voice came. Uzumaki Naruto raised his head and found Ino, Sakura, Hinata, Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, and others slowly walking in. Why are you here? Uzumaki Naruto raised his head and asked a little strangely. Oh, is it that popular? It's really troublesome. Ino insists on coming over, so we have to follow her. Nara Shikamaru said helplessly. Standing next to him was Akimichi Choji, who was stuffing potato chips into his mouth. So are we. Hinata wanted to see you, so we came with her. Naruto, I heard you got into big trouble again this time? Inuzuka Kiba asked curiously. It's nothing, I just helped the village uncover a huge conspiracy. Uzumaki Naruto waved his hand casually. Hearing his words, there was a look of shock on everyone's faces. Good guy, it was obviously you who stole the sealed book and caused chaos in the whole village. Why did you say help the village discover a shocking conspiracy? Can you be thicker-skinned? Hey. Speaking of which, Naruto, you probably don't know that during the time you were unconscious, we had already divided into teams. Ino, Shikamaru, Choji are a team, me, Hinata, Kiba. Come on, Hinata, Ino, stay next to me. Sure enough, I was ignored again. Aburame Shino, who was interrupted before he finished speaking, pushed up his sunglasses and muttered softly. Look at you, just do what you want, what are you doing here? Upon hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, everyone present twitched their mouths. Good guy, what do you mean? It's enough if your heart comes to you, what else do people do when they come here? Did you say the opposite? After a few simple greetings, Ino and Hinata left with their teammates. They already knew from the diary that Naruto was fine, and they came here just to show their face in front of Naruto. They had just been divided into teams, and they still had to meet with their instructors. After everyone left, Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke walked to Naruto's side. Naruto, did you know? We were assigned to a squad. Little Sakura looked at Naruto and said excitedly. Yeah? Uzumaki Naruto nodded lightly. Snort. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto's calm look, Uchiha Sasuke snorted slightly unhappily. Huh? Sasuke? When did you come? Uzumaki Naruto asked, pretending to be surprised. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Uchiha Sasuke was a little defensive. He's been here a long time ago, okay, why did this guy just notice the look on his face? Sasuke, you're here to see me too, right? I'm so touched. I didn't expect you to care about me so much. Uzumaki Naruto looked at Uchiha Sasuke and smiled. Stop being so sentimental. Who cares about an idiot like you? I'm just here to warn you. My goal is to kill that man. Don't hold me back in the future. Uchiha Sasuke's face turned red and he snorted. Don't worry, you care about me so much, I will protect you from now on. As we all know, if you have a good relationship with Uchiha Sasuke, then you must listen to what he says. So, Uzumaki Naruto was still very happy with Uchiha Sasuke's answer. Did you really listen to me carefully? I obviously told you that I don't care about you, right? Besides, why can you, a loser in the ninja school, say so shamelessly that you want to protect me? Uchiha Sasuke roared in his mind. I don't know why, but every time I couldn't say a few words to Naruto, he would get so angry that his defenses would break down. He. Sasuke, it would be great to have Naruto protecting us from now on. Haruno Sakura clapped her hands happily. Actually agreed. Uchiha Sasuke covered his forehead. He felt that his teammates were not normal. Obviously, my grades always rank first in my age, and I am recognized as a genius ninja by everyone. Forget it, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Remember to gather on time at the training ground tomorrow. After Uchiha Sasuke finished speaking, he put his hands in his pockets and left the room. He felt that if he continued to stay here, he would get pink eye from anger. Naruto, this is the bento I personally prepared for you, please have a taste. After Sasuke left, little Sakura took out an exquisite bento from her arms. Sakura-chan, I've always had a question. Haven't you always liked Sasuke? Uzumaki Naruto looked at the bento and asked a little strangely. I don't like Sasuke. I think Naruto-kun is much better than Sasuke. Sakura retorted anxiously. She didn't want to continue being treated as Uchiha Sasuke's lapdog by Naruto. After this period of getting along, little Sakura found that Naruto was much better than Sasuke. Regardless of personality, background, strength. They are much better than Sasuke. and it can also give her the power that ninjas dream of. If you have to choose one to lick, then she wants to lick Naruto. Forget it, whatever you want. Hearing Sakura's answer, although he was surprised by Sakura's change, Uzumaki Naruto didn't say anything more. After all, he is no longer the Naruto in the original novel. It's not impossible for little Sakura to be attracted to him. Ino and Hinata, aren't they also very different from the original work? Moreover, little Sakura is Sasuke's bitch, so he will definitely kick her far away. But if it is your own dog licking, it will have a different flavor. Naruto, I'm leaving first, don't be late tomorrow. By the way, the teacher specifically asked not to have breakfast. When little Sakura saw Naruto accepting her bento, a happy smile immediately appeared on her face. Naruto waved at Uzumaki and left the room. Seeing little Sakura leaving, Uzumaki Naruto took out the diary again. The teams have been assigned, and as expected, I was assigned to the 7th squad. Humph, I'm afraid no one would have thought that we would inherit the name Sannin in the future, right? I won't say much more. The only savior of the ninja world, the son of prophecy in Jiraiya's mouth. Sasuke and Sakura also became Orochimaru and Tsunade's disciples, respectively, and inherited their names. In this case, our instructor should still be Hatake Kakashi. Hatake Kakashi, nicknamed Konoha Technician, masters thousands of ninjutsu, but his own chakra is pitiful. No, it's not because he has less chakra, it's because the Sharingan given to him by Uchiha Obito cannot be turned off, and it has been consuming his chakra all the time. I have a sultry personality, and I like to read little yellow books the most. Because of my experiences as a child, I don't care about anything. I feel extremely guilty about Uchiha Obito. Unfortunately, Kakashi doesn't know that his best friend, now transformed into Uchiha Madara, has been planning to resurrect 10 tails and implement the Eye of the Moon plan. Seeing this, Conan's expression changed. Uchiha Madara. Sure enough, it was played by someone else. And, sure enough, this guy had other goals. The other party resurrected 10 tails, not to shock the ninja world, but for the Eye of the Moon plan. What does Project Tsukunomi mean? What the hell is Uchiha Obito? Looking at the contents of the diary, Conan muttered to himself. These things are related to the future of the Akatsuki organization, and she must figure it out. It seems that her plan to go to Konoha must be moved forward again. Episode 12, Reward, Perfect Kagura's Hard Eye. By the way, just go to the training ground at noon tomorrow. That by now will be late anyway. I don't want to wait in the training ground for several hours without breakfast like in the original work. Speaking of which, I really want to see the expressions on Sasuke and Sakura's faces after waiting all morning. Ha 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 ha. Uzumaki Naruto finished writing and put the diary away. Ding! Congratulations to host for completing a diary and receiving the reward, Perfect Kagura Hard Eye. Listening to the system prompts, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes lit up. After such a long time, finally another good thing came. As the information in his mind was received, Uzumaki Naruto showed an excited smile on his face. The Kagura Heart Eye rewarded by the system is much more powerful than in the original work. In the original work, with Kagura's Heart Eye, Kosovo can sense chakra within dozens of kilometers. Even worse than the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan. Although the range of perception is huge, but only units with chakra can be sensed, and these units are things like little red dots. But the perfect Kagura Heart's Eye rewarded by the system is even more terrifying. As long as the Kagura Heart Eye is activated, Uzumaki Naruto can clearly perceive everything within a 10-kilometer radius. Whether they are living or dead objects, they can all be clearly presented in his mind. The picture is even clearer than Sarutobi Hiruzen's telescope technique. If there is only one downside, it is that it consumes a lot of mental energy and chakra. This is not a problem at all for Uzumaki Naruto. His most powerful, it is spiritual power and chakra. Try it now. Uzumaki Naruto closed his eyes and activated Kagura's Heart Eye. After a while, he slowly opened his eyes, wiped the nosebleed on his face, and nodded with satisfaction. 3D stereoscopic, powerful. It seems that I have to be more careful in the future and not let him take advantage of me. According to what Naruto wrote in his diary, Kakashi-sensei will probably arrive at noon tomorrow. If that's the case, I'll go there at noon. Just take advantage of the morning time to prepare a love lunch for Naruto. Looking at the contents of the diary, Haruno Sakura said silently in her heart. Originally, she planned to obey Master Kakashi's orders and gather at the training ground on time tomorrow. Now it seems that this is not necessary at all. The next day. Before dawn, Uchiha Sasuke put on his clothes and arrived at the training ground early. Looking at the empty training ground, Uchiha Sasuke had a proud smile on his face. Snort. These guys are so lazy and destined to never become truly strong. However, they don't have the hatred and responsibility that I carry, so it's understandable if they behave like this. Compared to me, they are just a bunch of naive brats who have not yet matured their minds. Uchiha Sasuke thought about it, feeling a sense of superiority in his heart. As the last orphan of the Uchiha clan, he must shoulder the responsibility of restoring the glory of the Uchiha clan. As well as take revenge on that man. When he thought of the tragedy that happened to the Uchiha clan that night, his heart was filled with anger. He would never forget the sight of his parents and clan members dying in front of his eyes. Uchiha Itachi, I'm a real ninja now. I will become stronger step by step, just like you expected, and finally kill you with my own hands. Not killing me in the first place would have been the worst decision you have ever made in your life. Under the clear sky, Uchiha Sasuke felt unprecedentedly confident. After thinking wildly for a long time, Uchiha Sasuke suddenly felt a ray of sunshine shining on his face. The dazzling sunlight brought him out of his thoughts. Strange, it should be time to gather now, right? Why didn't anyone come? Noon. The sun was blazing. Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura walked slowly into the training ground. Looking at Uchiha Sasuke lying on the ground with a lifeless expression, Uzumaki Naruto smiled and said hello. Oh hello, Sasuke, good morning. Hearing the sound, Uchiha Sasuke suddenly stood up from the ground. Why did you come just now? Uchiha Sasuke looked at Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura with an angry look on his face and asked. Is Mr. Kakashi here? Uzumaki Naruto asked looking at Uchiha Sasuke. This? Mr. Kakashi hasn't arrived yet. That's it. As long as we come earlier than Mr. Kakashi, we are not late. Uzumaki Naruto shrugged. While speaking, he also burped. Moment, a delicious smell of barbecue came out. Gulyalu, smelling the smell of barbecue in the air, Uchiha Sasuke's stomach growled unsatisfactorily. He has been hungry for a long time since eating last night. Why are you eating? Kakashi-sensei clearly told us not to have breakfast. Obeying orders is the first rule of ninjas, have you forgotten? Uchiha Sasuke asked loudly, his voice full of grievance. The feeling is that he got up early in the morning and waited for so long with an empty stomach. Sasuke, don't talk nonsense. I didn't have breakfast, I had lunch. Uzumaki Naruto said with a chuckle. Although I was very unconvinced, I couldn't seem to find any reason to refute it. I said, Sasuke, why are your eyes so red? You're not crying anymore, are you? You're the one crying. Uchiha Sasuke gritted his teeth, turned around and ran away to sulk. After another long while, white-haired Hitaki Kakashi slowly walked over with a copy of Intimate Paradise. Hey, I'm so sorry. I was late because I was helping the old lady cross the road. Sorry. Hitaki Kakashi waved his hands casually at Uzumaki Naruto and the others. There is absolutely no sense of apology in your expression or tone. Looking at the very unreliable Hitaki Kakashi, Haruno Sakura looked happy. Fortunately she had a diary, otherwise she would have been as miserable as Sasuke today. Look, Sasuke was about to cry. Okay, now that everyone is here, I won't gossip anymore. Let's talk first. If you want to become my disciple, you must pass my assessment. Assessment? Is there any assessment? Haven't we all passed the graduation examination? Hearing this, little Sakura couldn't help but raise her hand. Teacher Kakashi, what will happen if you fail the assessment later? Hearing Sakura's words, Kakashi's eyes lit up with a dangerous light. If you don't pass my assessment, I'm sorry, but you can only go back to ninja school for another year. After speaking, Kakashi paused. By the way, the probability of those little guys passing my assessment in the past was 0. Episode 13, Grab the Bell. What? Hearing Hitaki Kakashi's words, even Uchiha Sasuke, who had been sulking next to him, couldn't help but exclaimed. If you fail the test later, you will have to go to ninja school for another year? The probability of passing the assessment in the past was 0? What a joke. He looked forward to getting revenge on that man every day. Now that he had finally graduated from the ninja school, he was asked to go back and restudy for another year? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Little Sakura looked at Hitaki Kakashi's smiling face and took 2 steps back unconsciously. It's exactly what Naruto said, this white hair, just a pervert. Only Uzumaki Naruto, who had known the nature of the assessment for a long time, still had an indifferent expression. He even couldn't help but yawn. Okay, enough of the small talk. After briefly observing the 3 people's reactions, Hitaki Kakashi stood up straight again. The assessment rules this time are very simple. As long as you grab a bell from me, you will pass the test. After Hatake Kakashi finished speaking, he waved the bell in front of the three people, and then hung it on his waist. Huh? Are the rules that simple? Hearing Hatake Kakashi's words, little Sakura couldn't help but feel a little confused. After hearing Kakashi say that no one had ever passed the exam, she thought the content of the exam would be difficult. Uchiha Sasuke's originally tense mood relaxed a little. He thought the same as little Sakura. I thought the assessment would have very complicated rules. Did not expect, just need to grab a bell from the opponent's hand. It seems that those guys in the past failed the assessment just because their strength was too rubbish. It's just a matter of simply grabbing the bell. As a genius of the Uchiha clan, he will never fail. Naruto, it seems pretty simple. As long as the three of us cooperate well, we will definitely be able to pass the assessment. Little Sakura let out a long sigh of relief, patted her flat chest, and said to Naruto. Simple? Hearing what little Sakura said, Uzumaki Naruto shook his head. I don't know if you noticed, but there are only 2 bells on this white hair. This also means that even if the bell is snatched by us, one person is destined to be eliminated. Under such circumstances, team members are naturally in competition with each other. Can everyone still cooperate with each other? Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Uchiha Sasuke and little Sakura were both shocked. If this is the case, then there is a high probability that the team members will have internal strife. After all, no one wanted to go to ninja school for another year. Besides, don't forget. Although the white-haired Jonin in front of me is wretched, his strength is real. I'm afraid it will be very difficult to grab the bell from a Jonin. Uzumaki Naruto spoke slowly. After hearing his words, Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura, who were relieved, became nervous again. It turns out that there are so many things hidden behind what seems like a simple assessment. Uchiha Sasuke looked at Uzumaki Naruto with unconvinced eyes. Just after the rules were announced, he didn't notice anything, but Naruto analyzed so many things. This made Uchiha Sasuke, who had always been very proud, full of frustration. He was actually outclassed by a crane. Hateful. What a sharp guy. As expected of a teacher's son. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's analysis, Hatake Kakashi couldn't help but muttered. The confident smile on Naruto's face now reminded him of the 4th Hokage of that year, Namake's Minato. The ability to analyze so many things in such a short period of time is really scary. But, kid, you do have a very smart mind. But, I don't like being called by Mao, nor do I like being called obscene. So, attack me with the belief of killing me, otherwise you will lose miserably. After Hatake Kakashi finished speaking, his figure disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already behind Uzumaki Naruto. 1,000 years of death. With a loud shout, Kakashi put his hands together and gave Naruto a hard blow on the ass. Boom! With a muffled sound, Uzumaki Naruto's body turned into a plume of white smoke. Shadow clone? Seeing this scene, Kakashi was shocked. When? He didn't notice at all. 1,000 years of death. Hearing the sound, Kakashi subconsciously covered his butt with his hands. But when he turned his head and saw the joking expression on Uzumaki Naruto's face, he realized something was wrong. Damn, you were so careless. Hatake Kakashi snorted, turned his body quickly, raised his feet to block Naruto's attack, and at the same time, his body quickly retreated backwards using inertia. It's a pity that I almost succeeded. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head helplessly. He had already touched the bell just now, but unfortunately, Kakashi's reaction was a little too quick. Now Kakashi is on guard. With the opponent's strength, it will be difficult for him to have such an opportunity again. Not to mention, he also had no intention of completely exposing his strength. Sasuke, Sakura-chan. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's call, Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura also joined the battlefield at the same time. For a time, the three of them attacked Kakashi with all their strength. These brats. Kakashi's eyes gradually became serious. The strength of these brats seemed to be beyond his expectation. First up is Naruto. The strength he showed, even compared to those genin who have graduated long ago, is already among the best. This kind of strength, there is no problem taking the Chunin exam. And little Sakura, although the opponent's combat experience is very immature, his speed and strength are very good, and his physical strength is also very good. Even if he attacks continuously, there is no aura disorder. But Uchiha Sasuke, he has always been known as a genius ninja, but judging from today's performance, Sasuke was completely overwhelmed by Naruto and little Sakura. Interesting. Hatake Kakashi snorted. These three little guys, this is probably the strongest team since he became the coach of Jonin. But, even so, nor could they snatch the bell from themselves. now I give you one last chance. The assessment will continue in an hour. But, as the worst performer, none of you are allowed to give Uchiha Sasuke a bento. If you dare to violate the rules, you will be eliminated immediately. Hatake Kakashi said sternly, activated the body flicker technique and left. Episode 14, full of gay love, in the training ground. Uchiha Sasuke was tied to a stake, with his head lowered and a look of disappointment on his face. Wow, what a delicious bento. Uzumaki Naruto opened the bento in his hand in front of Uchiha Sasuke. There are rich ingredients such as barbecue, chicken legs, sausages, etc. Once opened, the rich aroma spread immediately. Gulyalu, Uchiha Sasuke, who had been hungry for a long time, couldn't help but growl when he smelled the bento. Sasuke, are you hungry? Do you want to eat? Hearing the sound, Uzumaki Naruto deliberately placed the bento in front of Uchiha Sasuke's face. Snort. I'm not hungry at all. Uchiha Sasuke gritted his teeth and turned his head to the side with great effort. But just turned around, I saw the bento in little Sakura's hand. Although not as rich as Naruto's bento, it is still full of flavor. Gulyalu, my stomach growled again. Uchiha Sasuke's face turned red and he simply closed his eyes. He was afraid that if he kept his eyes open, he would drool. Seeing Sasuke's appearance, Uzumaki Naruto shook his head in amusement. It's fun to occasionally tease this middle-aged boy who likes to show off. Okay, I won't tease you anymore. Eat. Uzumaki Naruto picked up the spoon and handed the half-eaten bento to Uchiha Sasuke's mouth. Huh? Naruto, if Kakashi-sensei catches him doing this, he'll be finished. Little Sakura couldn't help but remind her when she saw the scene. Idiot, I won't eat it. Do you still want to go back to ninja school and be a tailgater for another year? Uchiha Sasuke also looked at Naruto with some confusion. Don't think too much, I just don't want you to hold me back because you haven't eaten enough in the afternoon. Uzumaki Naruto said calmly. You are so brave, aren't you afraid of being discovered by Kakashi? Uchiha Sasuke asked. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I stay in the ninja school for one more year. Uzumaki Naruto shrugged. He already knew the purpose of the assessment, so of course he wouldn't care. Only, these things cannot be said. You. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Uchiha Sasuke's eyes turned red. In my memory, his relationship with Naruto had never been great. The two of them always quarreled before they could say more than a few words. Unexpectedly, now Naruto was actually willing to risk failing the exam for him to help him. Eat quickly. Uzumaki Naruto handed the spoon to Uchiha Sasuke's mouth. This time, Uchiha Sasuke didn't say anything more, but opened his mouth and took a bite obediently. After eating, a blush appeared on Uchiha Sasuke's face. Sasuke, take my share too. Anyway, if Naruto is eliminated, I won't be a ninja anymore. Little Sakura also said. Everyone. Uchiha Sasuke looked at the two people in front of him with emotion in his heart. He hadn't felt this kind of warmth for a long time. Suddenly I feel like I'm not full yet. After Uzumaki Naruto finished speaking, he casually untied the rope that tied Uchiha Sasuke. Eat it yourself. Handing his bento to Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto picked up little Sakura's bento and ate it. Come to the world of Hokage, of course, all the girls will be accepted. How could he allow his harem to feed other men? Hee. Naruto, if you like it, I will do it for you every day from now on. Little Sakura felt happy when she saw Naruto taking away her bento domineeringly. My hard work for so long finally bore fruit. While several people were eating lunch, Hatake Kakashi's figure suddenly appeared. Hey, what are you doing? You dare to violate my rules. Are you turning a deaf ear to my words? Did you know that ninjas who don't follow the rules will be called trash? Hatake Kakashi's face was sullen and seemed very angry. Ruined. Kakashi-sensei, this is all my suggestion. Little Sakura immediately spoke. No. I asked Naruto to give me the bento. If you want to punish, just punish me alone. Uchiha Sasuke also shouted. Yeah? Hatake Kakashi sneered and then looked at Uzumaki Naruto. Now it's your turn, little brat. Tell me your reasons. Hearing Kakashi's words, Uzumaki Naruto snorted. These are my companions. If ninjas who don't follow the rules are called trash, then those who don't cherish their companions are trash among the trash. If being called a ninja means having to give up your companions, then I would rather give up. Uzumaki Naruto stood in front of Hatake Kakashi and said without showing any signs of weakness. So handsome. Looking at Naruto's back, little Sakura and Sasuke both had stars in their eyes. Especially Sasuke, he has now begun to fantasize how cool it would be if you were the one standing in front. Looking at Uzumaki Naruto standing in front of Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura, Hatake Kakashi took a deep breath. Snort. In that case, I declare now that you are all qualified. Ah? Hearing Hatake Kakashi's words, both Sasuke and Sakura opened their mouths in surprise. Is this qualified? As Naruto said, the purpose of this test from the beginning was not to grab the so-called bell. Only those who never give up on their companions under any circumstances are qualified to become ninjas. You have passed my assessment. Hatake Kakashi explained with a smile. So that's it. Little Sakura and Sasuke both suddenly realized. Immediately, they set their sights on Naruto. No doubt, they were able to pass this test today, all because of Naruto. It was Naruto who immediately analyzed the purpose of grabbing the bell and eliminated the gap in their hearts. It was Naruto who was willing to give up the opportunity to become a ninja and help his companions even when the rules did not allow it. This idiot just likes to be in the limelight. Uchiha Sasuke's affection for Uzumaki Naruto has greatly increased. Why haven't I discovered it before? The rear of this crane, sometimes it seems pretty good. Now, as the first batch of students to pass my examination, I will treat you to a barbecue tonight. Hatake Kakashi was obviously in a good mood and offered to treat everyone to barbecue. Teacher Kakashi, are we really the first batch of students to pass your assessment? Little Sakura couldn't help but ask. Originally, she thought that this was Kakashi's excuse to scare them deliberately. That's right. Those guys in the past were all idiots who only knew how to obey my orders. Although I used to be such an idiot. Hatake Kakashi said, looking at the sky in trance. Seeing this scene, Uzumaki Naruto knew without guessing that this guy must be missing Uchiha Obito again. Looking at that erotic look, Uzumaki Naruto had goosebumps all over his body. Hokage world, it's really full of gay love everywhere. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto calmly moved a little further away from Uchiha Sasuke. Episode 15, Teacher Hong, we will be sisters from now on. Ohio, now I announce that Class 7 is officially established. As I expected, the white-haired Kakashi has already taken the shape of Uchiha Obito. When I said, guys who don't cherish their companions are worse than trash, the smile on that white-haired face couldn't be stretched. It's just that I seem to have gone a little overboard. I always feel like there's something wrong with the way Urtsuzi looks at me. You must be more careful in the future, otherwise it will be troublesome if Hinata and the others are jealous. Looking at the contents of the diary, Hyuga Hinata couldn't help but burst into laughter. Then his face turned red. Naruto-kun is really, why do you always call me your little wife? Ino, Sakura-chan and others must have seen it. Oops, so shy. Hinata, what are you thinking about? Just when Hyuga Hinata was distracted, a gentle voice sounded in her ears. Ah? Teacher Hong. After coming back to his senses, Hyuga Hinata quickly put away the diary in his hand and stood up. Hinata, what you just looked at was a diary. Yuhi Kurenai asked curiously as she looked at Hyuga Hinata. Hong, Teacher Hong, can you see the diary? Hyuga Hinata asked in surprise. Even if she didn't put the diary away in time just now, ordinary people shouldn't be able to see the diary. Why can Teacher Yuhi Hong see it? Could it be? When thinking of a certain possibility, Hyuga Hinata said in a daze, Teacher, do you also have a diary? If this is the diary you're talking about, that's correct. Yuhi Hong said, taking out a diary from her arms. As expected, Yuhi Hong sensei also has one. Seeing Yuhi Hong's name on the diary, Hyuga Hinata nodded, exactly as she thought. Hinata, were you reading the contents of the diary just now? Yuhiko looked at Hyuga Hinata and asked curiously. Ah. Hyuga Hinata exclaimed when she heard Yuhi Kurenai's words. Because, a question suddenly occurred to her. If Teacher Hong also has a diary, wouldn't Teacher Hong be able to see all the contents in the diary? I was called my little wife by Naruto-kun. Thinking of this, Hyuga Hinata felt like she was starting to feel dizzy. Hinata, I saw you smiling so happily just now, is it because Naruto called you little wife in the diary? Seeing Hyuga Hinata's shy look, Yuhi Kurenai joked in a funny way. Sure enough, the teacher saw them all. It's all Naruto-kun's fault. This big bad guy. As if her parents had discovered her little secret, Hyuga Hinata's body temperature rose again. The next second, the two rolled their eyes and fainted. Oops. It seems like I've gone too far. Seeing Hyuga Hinata faint, Yuhi Hong stuck out her tongue. It seems that, you have to be more careful next time. When Hyuga Hinata woke up, it was already afternoon. Teacher Hong, what's wrong with me? Hyuga Hinata asked in confusion as she looked at Yuhi Hong standing by the bed. Hinata, you just passed out. Yuhi Kurenai smiled. After hearing her words, Hinata's head gradually sobered up. Teacher Hong. Okay, don't be so shy, it's okay. Seeing that Hyuga Hinata's face was about to turn red again, Yuga Hinata quickly changed the subject. Hinata, how much do you know about this diary? Can you tell me something? Yuhi Hong asked the question she was most concerned about. At first, the diary suddenly appeared, breaking her originally peaceful life. Whenever she wanted to mention it to others, an extremely dangerous aura would always arise in her mind. It wasn't until she saw Hyuga Hinata's diary that Yuhi Hong realized that people who also held diaries were not subject to these restrictions on each other. Teacher Hong, I actually don't know much about diaries. In addition to being able to see the contents of Naruto-kun's diary, diary holders can also add each other as friends. Friends can communicate through the diary anytime, anywhere. Hyuga Hinata spoke slowly. Is there still such a function? Hearing Hinata's words, a look of surprise flashed in Yuhi's red eyes. Subsequently, under Hinata's guidance, the two added each other as friends. After briefly understanding the friend function, Yuhi Hong couldn't help but sigh. This kind of power, if used to convey information, it's simply not too convenient. But, these are not the most important. Hinata, didn't you also get a diary as a reward? Are those rewards real? Yuhi Hong asked expectantly. It is true. Teacher Kurenai, it's because of the reward from the diary that I can easily defeat Kiba and Shino now. Hyuga Hinata whispered. Hearing her words, Yuhi Hong's chest couldn't help but began to rise and fall violently. The rewards are real. This mysterious diary can really greatly improve the strength of ninjas. For a time, Yuhi Hong's eyes were full of passion. After all, there is no ninja who doesn't want to become stronger. Hinata, can you make an introduction for me? Yuhi Kurenai asked, looking at Hyuga Hinata. Ah? Why don't Kurenai-sensei just go to Naruto-kun? Hyuga Hinata asked a little strangely. You are the little wife Naruto-kun has always dreamed of marrying. Of course it would be better if you help me introduce her to her. Yuhi Hong smiled. Uzumaki Naruto's identity is too sensitive. If she approaches rashly, she might cause some trouble. But if the introduction is through Hinata, it all makes sense. Teacher Hong, stop teasing me. Naruto-kun, you call everyone your wife. Didn't he also call you wife in the diary? Hyuga Hinata said suddenly. Okay, you guy, now you dare to make fun of the teacher. Hearing Hyuga Hinata's words, Yuhi Hong couldn't help but blush. Being called wife by another man, and even being known by her own disciples, even with her personality, she couldn't help but feel a little shy. Teacher, do you think you also like Naruto-kun? Seeing Yuhi blushing, Hyuga Hinata became bolder. I like you big-headed ghost. Yuhi Kurenai knocked Hyuga Hinata on the head. Although she was full of curiosity about Uzumaki Naruto, she was far from saying she liked him. Since the teacher doesn't like Naruto-kun, I won't help you get to know him. Hyuga Hinata said deliberately. For the sake of my own strength, I endure it. Yuhi Hong forced a smile from her face. Even I like Naruto-kun too. Hinata, I'll trouble you this time. Hearing Yuhi Hong's answer, Hyuga Hinata showed a smile of success on her face. Teacher Hong can also see the contents of the diary. If Teacher Hong is not dragged into the water, she will have no shame in staying in the team in the future. Thinking of this, Hyuga Hinata reached out and held Yuhi Hong. Great, Teacher Hong, we will be sisters from now on. Episode 16, Sarutobi Hiruzen's image collapses, reward, Rasengan. You mean, besides you, Ino and Sakura-chan also have diaries? Walking on the road, Yuhi looked at Hyuga Hinata and asked curiously. That's right. We also added each other as friends. Hyuga Hinata nodded. Subsequently, pulling Yuhi Hong into the group chat established by the three of them. Haruno Sakura, Yuhi Kurenai, who is this? Yamanaka Ino, Hinata, why did you involve your instructor Jonin? Hyuga Hinata, Sister Kurenai also has a diary, and we added each other as friends. Haruno Sakura, Yamanaka Ino, read, Sister? Kurenai Yuhi, hello everyone, I am Hinata's instructor Jonin, Kurenai Yuhi. Haruno Sakura, welcome. Yamanaka Ino, welcome. Looking at the messages in the group, Yuhi Hong felt her face burning. After all, Hinata, little Sakura, and Ino, they are all the same age as Naruto. In comparison, he seems a bit older. After a brief chat with little Sakura and Ino, Yuhi Kurenai put away her diary. Hinata, now it seems that everyone whose name Naruto mentioned in the diary seems to have a diary. After learning that Ino and Sakura also had diaries, Yuhi-hong analyzed it. We've thought about it this way too, but there's one thing we still can't figure out. Naruto also mentioned the third Hokage in his diary. If the third Hokage also had a diary, Naruto would have been controlled by Umbu, right? Hyuga Hinata analyzed. Naruto made many shocking remarks in his diary. If the people mentioned have diaries, then Naruto must have been captured by Umbu, right? Then there's only one possibility. Only the woman mentioned in the diary, or the woman Naruto calls his wife, will own the diary. Yuhi-hong said solemnly. Hearing her words, Hyuga Hinata's eyes lit up. Yes. If this is the case, that makes sense. Sister Hong, you are so awesome. Hyuga Hinata gave Yuhi Kurenai a thumbs up. Yuhi Kurenai rolled her eyes. This little girl, the more I screamed, the smoother I became. Barbecue shop. Uzumaki Naruto was sitting in a private room at the back. His life had become much easier since he became a ninja. Eating barbecue once in a while is not a problem at all. Eating the delicious barbecue, Uzumaki Naruto took out his diary. Konoha's barbecue is really good and tastes great. When I think of this, I get very angry. The original 4th generation and Kushina were both solid Kage-level powerhouses. Even though Kushina rarely has the opportunity to leave the village due to her status, Minato, as the 4th Hokage, has performed 39 S-level missions, 323 A-level missions, and countless other low-level missions. But the result is a little no inheritance was left. Those two bastards, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo, are really nothing. If it weren't for them, I would have no problem eating barbecue every day. Looking at the contents of the diary, the girls' impressions of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo were a little worse. But all the girls were a little confused. If Naruto is really the son of the 4th Hokage, why would Sarutobi Hiruzen do this? Just when everyone was confused, the contents of the diary were updated again. Snort. In order to better control his 9 tails Jinchuriki, Sarutobi Hiruzen deliberately spread rumors that he was a demon fox, causing everyone in the village to hate him. Living expenses are also paid according to the standards of ordinary orphans. Although this money can barely sustain food and clothing, it is really difficult for a child to take care of himself when the whole village is hostile. Let your life be filled with darkness, and then take care of yourself as a kind grandfather. Fortunately, I traveled through time, otherwise Sarutobi Hiruzen would have succeeded based on the development in the original work. It wasn't until here that everyone who was staring at the diary suddenly realized. No wonder Sarutobi Hiruzen would let Naruto live such a miserable life. It turned out to be because he wanted to better control 9 tails Jinchuriki. For a time, the sympathy in the hearts of the girls overflowed, and they all felt very sorry for what happened to Naruto. At the same time, Sarutobi Hiruzen's image completely collapsed at this moment. Tsunade, this old guy really hasn't changed at all. Hyuga Hinata, Naruto-kun, it turns out that Lord 3rd generation is really bad after suffering so much. Yamanaka Ino, it's so abominable. You treat Naruto like this. It's absolutely unforgivable. Terumi Mei, is this the method of Konoha Hokage? It feels more ruthless than our Kirigakure. Maui Shien, is such a leader really worthy of my continued loyalty? Ding, congratulations to host for completing a diary and receiving the reward, Rasengan. Following the system prompt, Uzumaki Naruto put the diary away. He was very satisfied with this reward. Rasengan, the most classic Muji ninjutsu, it's hard to defend against and has strong lethality. It's a very good ninjutsu. It can be said, now with Rasengan, his strength directly received a qualitative improvement. At this time, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly found that there were 2 more people in front of him. Hinata? Seeing the 2 people in front of him, Uzumaki Naruto shouted happily. Naruto-kun. Hyuga Hinata responded obediently. What a coincidence. Uzumaki Naruto pulled Hyuga Hinata to sit next to him. Hinata, Ino, and little Sakura often come to him together, so he and Hinata are already very familiar with each other personally, and there is no need to worry about Hinata fainting from shyness. You're Naruto, right? I often hear Hinata mention you. I am Yuhi Kurenai, Hinata's mentor Jonin. Yuhi Kurenai sat across from Uzumaki Naruto generously. According to the rules of the diary, they cannot let Naruto know about the diary. So, she had to pretend she didn't know Naruto. So you are Hinata's teacher. Sister, you're beautiful. Uzumaki Naruto asked innocently. Seeing Naruto's appearance, both Hyuga Hinata and Yuhi Kurenai couldn't help laughing. This guy, your acting skills are too good, right? If I hadn't already known the other party's true face in the diary, I would have been deceived by him. Naruto, it's our first time meeting you, and I'm treating you today. Yuhi Kurenai sat opposite Uzumaki Naruto, looking at Naruto as if she were looking at a rare treasure. No, rare than rare treasures. After all, this kid in front of me, but this treasure boy can really help her improve her strength. Uzumaki Naruto was a little confused after hearing Yuhi Kurenai's words. Strangeness, forget about Ino, Hinata, and little Sakura, he and they are classmates, so it's possible that they are attracted to him. But what happened to Yuhi Hong? Are you so enthusiastic about yourself when you first meet? And, why did he feel that the other person's eyes were full of desire? Episode 17, Yuhi Hong, what? Am I pregnant out of wedlock? After returning home, Yuhi Hong lay on the bed with a slight blush on her face. When she recalled the scene of eating at the barbecue restaurant tonight, she became a little angry. That guy Uzumaki Naruto is really a big pervert. By acting like an innocent child, I got a lot of advantage by sitting next to her. The key is, Naruto's little actions would appear to have ulterior motives if done by an adult man. But, if it was just a 12-year-old kid doing it, it wouldn't be a big problem. But what makes Yuhi Hong feel a little uncomfortable is, she knew that beneath Uzumaki Naruto's innocent appearance, there was the soul of a grown man hidden. But in order to prevent Naruto from noticing anything unusual, she could only act like she didn't notice anything. This makes Yuhi Hong, who has always been a royal sister, a little helpless. Did not expect, one day, I was taken advantage of by a kid. Speaking of which, after chatting with Naruto for so long today, he should have mentioned me in his diary, right? Yuhi Hong took out her diary, and the expression on her face became a little excited. She was taken advantage of so much by that brat today. If the other party didn't mention her a few more times in the diary, then she would definitely make the brat pay the price. With an anxious mood, Yuhi Hong opened the diary. The next second, the contents of the diary appeared before her eyes. Ha 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 ha. Today is such a happy day. Unexpectedly, while having a barbecue at a barbecue restaurant, I met Yuhi Hong's wife. Seeing this, Yuhi Hong's face turned red. Naruto had called her wife before, but she didn't think it was a big deal. Now that she thinks that Hinata, Sakura, and Ino can all see the contents of the diary, Kurenai Yuhi's white and tender feet are tense with embarrassment. Speaking of which, Mrs. Kurenai is the first big beauty I have seen since I came to the ninja world. Although Ino, little Sakura, and Hinata will not be worse than the red wife in the future, they are still young after all, and they can only be regarded as cute little Lolita at best. Although Shien's wife has developed very well, she didn't see her face that night because she was wearing a mask. Speaking of which, Red Wife is indeed a famous royal sister. With her proud figure and ruby-like eyes, any man's blood will boil when he sees her, right? Also, I don't know if my charm is too great. Although it's the first time for Mrs. Hong to meet me, she always feels that she is a little too enthusiastic towards me. Ha 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 ha. Ah. Looking at the contents of the diary, Yuhi Hong buried her head under the quilt. Naruto, that bastard, what the hell is he writing? Why would any man's blood boil when he saw her figure? Why am I too enthusiastic about him? What a shame. When she thought that these contents would be seen by other people who also owned the diary, she felt embarrassed and wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. But, while Yuhi Hong was ashamed, she couldn't help but feel a little proud. After all, Uzumaki Naruto, as a time traveler, must be well aware of the beauties in the ninja world. Being able to receive such a high evaluation from the other party, as a woman, she felt like eating honey. At the same time, the other girls who were reading the diaries had different thoughts in their hearts. Terumi Mei, Yuhi Kurenai? Humph, I have to see what kind of woman she is when I go to Konoha to get such a high evaluation. Conan, sure enough, the people in Konoha have begun to approach Uzumaki Naruto. I have to act as soon as possible. Tsunade, Shizune, you said this kid wouldn't say such nonsense after seeing me, right? Shizune, haha. Tsunade-sama, judging from your figure, I'm afraid the contents of the diary will be even more excessive. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Sarutobi Asuma, you are a piece of rubbish. Looking at the sentence that appeared inexplicably in the diary, the girls all felt a little strange. Naruto, wasn't he very happy just now? Why did you suddenly start cursing again? And, why scold Sarutobi Asuma? In the original work, Sarutobi Asuma, as the son of Hokage, has been extremely selfish since he was a child, doing things based on his own likes and dislikes, and is a complete bad boy. Because of a quarrel with Sarutobi Hiruzen, he openly left the village and became a so-called guardian nin for the daimyo of the Land of Fire. If he were not Hokage's son, he would probably have been defined as a rebellious nin, right? Later, I had enough of being crazy outside, so I returned to the village and pursued Yuhi Kurenai crazily. Not long after the two were together, they died at the hands of Haiden, the immortal duo organized by Akatsuki. He said that the person he loved most was Yuhi Kurenai, but he didn't even hold a wedding for her. The most important thing is that when he died, Yuhi Hong was already pregnant with his child. He was so cool, leaving Hong alone to get pregnant out of wedlock, facing other people's rumors alone. Does such a guy have any sense of responsibility as a man? Hong lost her parents when she was young and grew up alone. She didn't know how many grievances she suffered. Now that I have traveled through time, I will never let such a tragedy happen again. Honey, I will definitely make you live a happy life. Inside the room, Yuhi Hong had already burst into tears. Original. Today, she contacted Uzumaki Naruto more, just to get Naruto to mention her a few more times in the diary to get a reward. Unexpectedly, he unexpectedly learned about his future life. After Sarutobi Asuma returned to the village, he had indeed been pursuing her. Although she didn't like him, she couldn't refuse him directly due to his identity as the son of Hokage. Unexpectedly, my future will turn out like this. Pregnant out of wedlock, raising the child alone, and facing rumors in the village. No, such a life, definitely not what she wanted. In contrast, although Naruto was a little carefree, what the other person said made her feel very warm inside. So many years, finally, there was someone who could understand her difficulty. Ding, since Yuhi Kurenai was mentioned many times in the diary, she received a reward, doubled chakra and doubled physical fitness. As the system prompts sounded, Yuhi Hong's body began to undergo tremendous changes. Chakra, which had been stagnant for a long time, began to grow rapidly, and the body became full of vitality. Only, now Yuhi Hong doesn't care about these things at all. She was looking out the window in a daze, with a smile on her face. Naruto, maybe a tragedy that can really change my life. Episode 18, Ino, it's so annoying, why can't I be in the same team as Naruto? Hyuga clan. Inside the room, Hyuga Hinata is sitting alone in the room, holding a diary to comfort Yuhi Kurenai. Sister Hong, are you okay? Hyuga Hinata asked. There was something about Yuhi Hong in the diary, and she had already seen it. It's okay, Hinata, don't worry. Yuhi Hong quickly Kaido. That's good, Sister Hong, don't worry. When you become Naruto-kun's wife, the original tragedy will never happen. Seeing the message from Hyuga Hinata, Yuhi Hong almost spit out blood. What does it mean that she will become Naruto's wife in the future? Please, she hasn't agreed yet. Hinata, don't talk nonsense, I think you want to be Naruto's little wife? Sister Hong, I will ignore you. Hyuga Hinata closed the diary with a red face. She really wanted to be Naruto's little wife, but she was still too young now. Naruto even said today that he would let her eat more in the future. Thinking of this, Hyuga Hinata looked down at her flat chest. Naruto-kun said in his diary that he will be in good shape in the future. If he eats more now, he should not be worse than Sister Kurenai in the future. Konoha village. In a training ground. Yuhi Hong is carrying out daily training with Hyuga Hinata, Inuzuka Kiba, and Aburame Shino. In the center of the venue, Hyuga Hinata faced Kiba and Shino's attacks alone, with a very calm expression. Kiba and Shino looked pained. Boom. Boom. With two muffled sounds, Kiba and Shino were knocked out by Hinata at the same time. Lost again, Hinata, when did you become so powerful? Is there any special training method? Teach us. He said with a toothache and a grin on his face. Originally, Hinata didn't seem to be that strong when she was in the ninja school. Why can't he and Shino gain any advantage now when they attack together? Although the Hyuga clan specializes in physical arts, but Hinata's strength and speed are also a bit ridiculous, right? Don't say trick, even if he was touched, the pain would be unbearable. Gee Shino, I'm so sorry. I haven't done any special training, so I have nothing to teach you. I'm really sorry. Hyuga Hinata said with sincerity. What the hell? Hearing Hyuga Hinata's answer, Kiba was a little dissatisfied. Okay, it's not like you don't know Hinata's character, can she still lie to you? Yuhi Hong, who knew the inside story, stood up in time. After all, Hinata's strength was gained because of the diary. This kind of thing, of course I couldn't tell anyone else. Damn it, is this the so-called genius? It seems that if I want to become a Hokage, I have to work harder. Inuzuka Kiba said firmly. Sure enough, I was ignored again. Seeing that no one was paying attention to him, Aburame Shino sighed helplessly. Red. A rough voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, Sarutobi Asuma came over with Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akimichi Choji. Asuma? Seeing Sarutobi Asuma, Yuhi Kurenai frowned. Ever since she read what Uzumaki Naruto wrote in her diary, she didn't have any good feelings towards Sarutobi Asuma. I originally planned to take my disciples to train here, but I didn't expect to meet you by such a coincidence. Maybe this is fate. Sarutobi Asuma took a long drag on the cigarette and spit it out quickly. Ahem. Smelling the smell of smoke, Hyuga Hinata coughed a few times uncomfortably. Asuma, don't smoke in front of my disciples. Yuhi Hong said with some displeasure. It's okay, you'll get used to it after a few more puffs. Sarutobi Asuma waved his hand nonchalantly. Ino was like this at the beginning, but you see, you are not used to it now? Hearing Sarutobi Asuma's words, Yamanaka Ino rolled her eyes secretly. She also saw the contents of the diary, and she was equally disgusted with her new mentor Jonin. I told you not to smoke in front of my disciples. Okay, listen to you. Seeing that Yuhi Kurenai was a little angry, Sarutobi Asuma took another deep drag on the cigarette, threw the cigarette but casually on the ground, and stamped it out with his foot. Introducing my 3 disciples, Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akimichi Choji. After hearing Sarutobi Asuma's words, Nara Shikamaru and Akimichi Choji both said hello politely. Only Yamanaka Ino looked at Yuhi Kurenai with a smirk. Hong, sister, this is the first time we meet, hello. Hello. Yuhi's face turned red. Yamanaka Ino must have seen the contents of the diary, she was deliberately making fun of herself. Ino, how can you be so rude? Hong and I are the same generation, how can you call me sister? Sarutobi Asuma said a little unhappy. I just see that Sister Hong is young and beautiful. What's wrong with calling sister? Maybe we can really become good sisters in the future. Yamanaka Ino continued. Hearing the hidden meaning of her words, Yuhi Hong's toes curled up in embarrassment. Really, what she was most worried about came out. It's all that bastard Naruto's fault. Otherwise, how could I be teased like this by a kid? It's really troublesome. Nara Shikamaru rubbed his head. Ino used to be very polite, but why does she seem to be a different person today? Such things as women, it's really hard to understand. Hong, since we have met, let's just train together. Seeing that Kurenai Yuhi was not angry, Sarutobi Asuma did not continue to struggle with the title of Ino, but took the initiative to invite Kurenai Yuhi to train together. No need, our team has finished training today. Yuhi Kurenai directly rejected Sarutobi Asuma's proposal. She didn't want to have anything to do with this kind of person now. Then let's have dinner together tonight? After being rejected, Sarutobi Asuma proposed again. No need. Yuhi Kurenai was a little impatient. Could it be that in the original work, is this guy pursuing himself through this kind of stalking? Hong, I feel like you are a little unhappy today. Did I offend you somewhere? Sarutobi Asuma said, ready to reach out and take Yuhi Kurenai's hand. But the next second, he saw Yuhi Hong raise her foot and kick him hard. What a speed! Yuhi Hong moved too fast, Sarutobi Asuma only had time to raise his arms to block his chest. The next second, he was like a kite with its string broken, flying directly upside down. What a strength! Sarutobi Asuma shook his numb arms, with a look of shock on his face. According to his understanding, although Kurenai Yuhi is a jonin, she is a genjutsu-type ninja. I didn't expect physical skills to be so strong. Although he was poorly prepared just now, he was still an elite jonin after all. Hong's attack almost made him unable to react. Asuma, I already know your feelings, but I don't have any feelings for you. Don't bother me again in the future. Otherwise, I will personally go to 3rd generation to make it clear. After Yuhi Hong finished speaking, she left with Hyuga Hinata and others. Sarutobi Asuma was left standing there with an embarrassed look on his face. He has been accustomed to being domineering since he was a child. How could he ever be so angry? For a time, Sarutobi Asuma spat hard at Yuhi Kurenai's back. Snort. Red, you are playing with fire. As long as you still want to be a ninja of Konoha, you can't escape from my grasp. Sarutobi Asuma whispered softly to Yuhi Kurenai's back. Yamanaka Ino, who had been watching silently, looked at Sarutobi Asuma with even more disgust. Originally, she had sympathy for Sarutobi Asuma who would die at the hands of the Akatsuki organization in the future. Now it seems, there's really no need. So annoying, why can't I be assigned to the same team as Naruto? Episode 19, Ordinary People. Sister Hong, you were so cool just now. After saying goodbye to Kiba and Shino, Hyuga Hinata looked at Yuhi Kurenai with eyes full of admiration. The scene where Kurenai Yuhi kicked Sarutobi Asuma away just now is simply too handsome. Hinata, you praise me so much that I feel a little embarrassed. Looking at Hyuga Hinata's adoring eyes, Yuhi Hong smiled and rubbed her head. I'm just telling the truth. The Hokage's son was almost defeated by one of your moves. It's really amazing. Hearing Hyuga Hinata's words, Yuhi Hong was stunned. She was so angry just now that she really didn't pay attention. Thinking about it now, her movements just now seemed to be much faster than before. It should be the reason for the reward in the diary. Yuhi Hong said softly. As a genjutsu-type ninja, she is best at illusions. Physical skills have always been her weakness. Not to mention, although she is a jonin, her strength is not outstanding among the jonin. And Sarutobi Asuma. Although the opponent is annoying, his strength is that of a real elite jonin. But today, the opponent was actually kicked several meters away by himself. In the past, this is absolutely impossible to happen. Physical fitness doubled. It's indeed a reward for pervert. Yuhi Hong couldn't help but sigh. If I come a few more times, even the shadows from each village would probably not be her opponents, right? No, I have to make more of a presence in front of Naruto from now on. Just being mentioned a few times by Naruto in his diary, his strength has changed drastically. This opportunity must not be missed. He. Sister Hong, do you know Naruto-kun now? Being Naruto-kun's wife in the future will bring a lot of benefits. Hyuga Hinata said with a smile. Huh? You little girl, you are getting more and more courageous. Look if I don't take care of you. Being teased like this by her disciple, Yuhi Hong was extremely embarrassed and started to tickle Hinata crazily. But, although she was annoyed on the surface, Yuhi Hong couldn't help but feel a little hopeful in her heart. Snort. With her good looks and figure, Naruto, that big pervert, will definitely be fascinated by her, right? Rasengan. With a low shout, a large tree in front of Uzumaki Naruto that required several people to surround it was directly broken in half. Boom. There was a loud noise, and smoke and dust flew everywhere. Uzumaki Naruto stood there with a very excited expression on his face. The power of Rasengan was more powerful than he imagined. It consumes only a small amount of chakra to exert great power. The key is, Rasengan is instant and does not require sealing. Such ninjutsu, even if you look at the entire ninja world, it is an extremely precious existence. Although in the original work, Rasengan's performance does not seem to be that amazing, that is not the case. As a Muji ninjutsu, the strongest point of Rasengan is that it can be cast instantly without warning. It's hard to guard against in battle. A fighting style like 4th Hokage Namake's Minato is the way to truly unleash the power of the Rasengan. Like Uzumaki Naruto in the original novel, he held a ball and sprinted towards the enemy without even noticing. After briefly familiarizing himself with Rasengan, Naruto practiced his taijutsu. As a reward for keeping a diary during this period, he mastered dozens of ninjutsu with various attributes. Besides, in terms of physical skills, he has also reached the level of elite chunin. Coupled with the powerful physique of the perfect sage body and the powerful perception of Kagura's inner eye, it is already difficult for him to find an opponent in chunin. It's a pity that my combat experience is still a bit lacking. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head. If it weren't for the lack of actual combat, he felt that he wouldn't be incapable of fighting against Jonin now. After practicing alone for a while, Uzumaki Naruto keenly noticed that someone was coming here, so he decisively stopped. Fire style, great fireball technique. Forming a seal with his hands, Uzumaki Naruto spit out a high-temperature fireball from his mouth, burning the giant tree that was broken by Rasengan completely. Although after becoming a ninja, Umbu will not monitor everything he does in detail like before. But, it's better to be careful when doing things. Oh, that's it for today. Being a ninja is really hard. Uzumaki Naruto stretched and walked towards Konoha village as if he had discovered nothing. Looking at Naruto's leading figure, Wazuki Shien was a little surprised. Naruto was about to go back as soon as he came here. Could it be? Have you been discovered? No, probably not. Maui Shien shook her head. As an Umbu, she is quite confident in her tracking skills. Even if Naruto has a perfect sage body, in the end he is just a genin who just graduated from the ninja school. It must be a coincidence. But Yu Shien's confidence was soon beaten in the face. It turns out that the Umbu sent by Sarutobi Hiruzen to monitor me is Yuga's wife. This old guy finally did something good. With my charm, my wife Shien will definitely be deeply attracted to me soon, right? Seeing the contents of the diary, Maoyu Shien let out a poof. This guy, it's so narcissistic. Aren't you just a mediocre person who has traveled through the halo, the future savior of the ninja world, knows everything that happened in the past and future of the ninja world, the son of the 4th Hokage, the 9 tails Jinchuriki, the destined son of prophecy, and can give great power to the woman you like. Ordinary people? I, Maoyu Shien, will not be charmed so easily. Probably? Maui Shien felt that her confidence was not as strong as she thought. Never mind, don't think about this anymore. Yu Shien shook her head to get these strange thoughts out of her mind. In fact, she is more curious now, how on earth did Naruto find himself? Speaking of which, Shien's wife is indeed pretty good. If it weren't for the super perception of Kagura's heart's eye, I really wouldn't have been able to discover it, as expected of the woman I have fallen in love with, so that's it. Maui Shien suddenly realized. Although she didn't know about the so-called Kagura heart's eye, from Naruto's description, it should be a powerful sensory ninjutsu. It was with this perception technique that Naruto was able to discover his tracking. Strangeness. Why did I write so little today? Looking at the content in the diary that had not been updated for a long time, Yu Shien muttered. Subsequently, after seeing Naruto sleeping, she left directly. After returning home, Maui Shien took off her clothes, walked into the bathtub with her legs up. As a member of Umbu, Woyuki Shien trains a lot every day, and it is normal to break out in a sweat. So, every night, the first thing Maui Shien did when she got home was take a bath in the bathtub. It can not only wash away the stains on the body, but also let your body relax. Only, Maui Shien didn't notice. As soon as she returned home, Uzumaki Naruto, who had been resting in bed with his eyes closed, had a successful smile on his face. Episode 20, showing live broadcast? I'm too embarrassed to see anyone. Soaking in the bathtub, Woyuki Shien's face showed a look of enjoyment. Under the influence of the water vapor, her face became rosy visibly. It's so comfortable. As Maui Shien stretched, her curvy figure became more and more attractive. Forget it, let's see if there is any new content in the diary. Maui Shien thought, and the diary appeared out of thin air. Only, Maui Shien's original lazy expression disappeared instantly after she opened the diary. GGGG. I didn't expect Shien's wife to have such a good figure, TSK. The ninja world is really magical. Although ninjas are exposed to wind and sun every day, Shien's wife's skin is so white and tender, she looks like mutton fat. It's amazing, especially when I stretched my waist, I was so beautiful. As expected of the Kagura hearts I rewarded by the system, it feels like you are actually on the scene. Looking at the contents that kept appearing in the diary, Yu Shien almost bit her lip. Own. Was peeked at? Uzumaki Naruto. You bastard. Big pervert. Yu Shien was just about to stand up and get dressed, but the sudden content in her diary shocked her. Strange, what happened? Why does Shien's wife seem to be angry suddenly? Ha ha ha. You couldn't possibly have discovered that I was watching her take a shower, so you wanted to kill me, right? It should be impossible. I have the perfect Kagura eyes rewarded by the system. Absolutely no one can detect my prying eyes. Looking at these contents, Yu Shien calmed down again. She couldn't act too abnormally. Otherwise, once Naruto noticed something, it would be trouble. Thinking of this, Maui Shien could only curl up as much as possible and pretend to play with her feet as if nothing had happened. Women, sympathy.jpg, sure enough, I was overthinking it, and Shien's wife didn't notice it at all. Snort. This is my punishment for you to follow me according to the orders given by the old man from third generation, but, shouldn't it be bad to spy on others taking a bath like this? Looking at the contents in the diary, the girls were all a little surprised. Good guy, could this big pervert's conscience have discovered it? But before they could think about it, new content appeared in the diary. Snapped. It makes you think wildly. How can watching your future wife take a shower be called peeping? Seeing this sentence, everyone who was reading the diary was speechless. Who is your future wife? Did they agree? How can you speak so confidently? A little too shameless. In addition, I am not just taking a peek. It is just to better create the Super S-class that can affect the ancestor of chakra, the legendary goddess of Uma, and the mother of sage of six paths Otsutsuki Kagaya forbidden technique only. In other words, I am doing this entirely to save the future of the ninja world. To save the future of the ninja world? Develop Super S-level ninjutsu? The ancestor of chakra? The legendary goddess Mao? The mother of sage of six paths? Otsutsuki Kagaya? Seeing this news, everyone who owned the diary was not calm. This? Why is it getting more and more outrageous, the more I hear it? Could it be that in the future, as the ancestor of chakra, the goddess Uno wants to destroy the ninja world? Naruto saved the ninja world from the opponent, so is he called the savior? But, the mother of sage of six paths. Are people from that era really still alive? Are there really immortals in this ninja world? In addition, what kind of Super S-level ninjutsu can be learned by peeking at a beautiful woman taking a bath? This ninjutsu of yours, is it serious? For a time, all the girls were filled with doubts. Unfortunately, although Kagura's inner eye can clearly see the scene anywhere within 10 kilometers, it can't hear the sound. It's a pity. You should continue talking about the topic just now. Who cares whether you can hear the sound or not? Please tell me something about Otsutsuki Kagaya. That's the most important thing, right? Besides, didn't you agree that you would only peek at it to study Super S-rank ninjutsu? Why are you so sorry that you can't hear the sound? Pervert. The girls felt like they were going crazy. It's really frustrating to write half-written things, isn't it? I am willing to give you flowers, evaluation votes, monthly votes, and rewards. Can you write more about what I like to read, you bastard? Only Maui Yen remained as quiet as before. After all, she hasn't looked at the diary since the beginning. What should I do? I'm so ashamed. That bastard just peeked in and broadcasted in real time on his diary. When she thought that anyone who owned the diary could see the contents, Yu Shien wanted to find a crack in the ground and crawl into it. I'm too embarrassed to see anyone.